Okay, so these are the notes and examples for section 2 from chapter 5, solving inequalities by multiplication and division. So the substitute has given you a copy of these notes. You are to follow along. If you want to make little notes on that paper, you can, but make sure you're following along to make sure you understand how to solve these inequalities. Okay, first we're going to look at examples to solve by using multiplication. So example 1, we have x over 3 is less than or equal to 6. So since the x is already being divided by 3, then the opposite operation would be to multiply by 3 on both sides. Now because I'm multiplying by 3 on the left-hand side that is already being divided by 3, those 3's are going to be canceling out. So we'll be left with x is less than or equal to, and then 6 times 3 is 18. Okay, then we're going to make our number line. So remember, whatever your critical number is here, 18, that needs to go in the middle of your number line. And then we need numbers on the left and right of the number line. And make sure your numbers are in order from least to greatest. Okay, since our solution for this inequality is x is less than or equal to 18, we're going to have a closed circle on 18 since it's equal to 18. And then the arrow less than tells us to go to the left of 18 and draw an arrow. All right, example 2, we have negative j divided by 4 is greater than 2. Now on this problem, it's a little bit different. We're still going to multiply both sides by whatever is being divided. I'm going to multiply both sides by a negative 4. Now anytime you multiply by a negative for inequalities, that's always going to flip the inequality symbol over. So multiplying by a negative, this greater than symbol is now going to become a less than symbol. Anytime you multiply or divide by a negative. So the negative 4 times j divided by negative 4 is going to cancel. So I'll be left with j on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, when I do 2 times negative 4, that's going to be equal to negative 8. Okay, so I'm going to draw my number line. I'm going to put negative 8 in the middle. And put a few numbers on either side. So since our solution is j is less than negative 8, this time I'm going to have an open circle on negative 8, and less than means it's going to go to the left with an arrow. Okay, on number 3 we have 0.5 is less than negative b over 8. So since b is being divided by negative 8, then we're going to multiply by negative 8 on both sides. And since this is a negative, this is going to flip our inequality over. So now this becomes a greater than symbol. On the right-hand side, when I multiplied times negative 8, that canceled the negative 8 that was already there. So I'm just left with a b on the right. On the left-hand side, negative 8 times 0.5 is going to be negative 4. Now remember, we talked about on Monday that if you have a variable on the right-hand side that we want to flip that over. So we want to flip and put our b on the left and our negative 4 on the right. Right now, the problem has the alligator eating the negative 4. It's a greater than symbol. So when you flip over your problem, your inequality has to flip over also, so that your alligator is still eating your negative 4. Okay, so then I'm going to draw my number line. I'm going to put negative 4 in the middle. This solution says that b is less than negative 4, so that's going to be an open circle at negative 4, and we're going to go to the left. So now we're going to look at examples solving by division. So in example 4, I have negative 8q is less than 136. So since negative 8 is being multiplied times q, the opposite is to divide by negative 8 on both sides. And same rule for multiplication. If you multiply by a negative, it flips the inequality. This is true for dividing by a negative. So our inequality is going to flip over. On the left-hand side, negative 8 divided by 8 cancels, and I'll be left with q is greater than 136 divided by negative 8 is negative 17. So I'm going to draw my number line. Negative 17 in the middle. Since q is greater than negative 17, there's going to be an open circle on negative 17, and then we're going to shade to the right. Example 5, we have negative 4z is less than or equal to 64. So since negative 4 is being multiplied times z, I'm going to divide by negative 4 on both sides. So because I divided by a negative, that's going to flip my inequality over. The negative 4's cancel, so z is greater than or equal to 64 divided by negative 4 is negative 16. So on my number line, negative 16 goes in the middle. Since it's greater than or equal to negative 16, this is going to be a closed circle, and my arrow is going to go to the right. Okay, so this is the last example, number 6. I have negative 3/5 d is greater than or equal to 6. So since d is being multiplied by negative 3 over 5, the opposite is to divide by negative 3 over 5. So we're going to divide by negative 3 over 5 on both sides. And because we're dividing by a negative, that's going to flip our inequality over. So on the left-hand side, negative 3/5 divided by negative 3/5 will cancel. We'll be left with d. And then on the right-hand side, you can type this into your calculator, 6 divided by, put negative 3/5 in parentheses. That's going to be negative 10. So then on my number line, negative 10 in the middle. Since d is less than or equal to negative 10, we're going to have a closed circle on 10, and the arrow is going to the left.